So back in late May time this year, I just got started on fitting the utility kitchen area in our conservatory, but then JYSK got in touch and asked to do a bedroom makeover, so I completely stopped this. So this week I'm going to show you that footage of how I got started, and it'll be a new challenge over a few videos, but I'm very excited and nervous because I've got the plumbing to do after. So keep on watching if you want to see how I get on. So first things first, unload the van, and I decided to buy everything from JYSK because it was probably one of the cheapest. I know I had quite a few people saying that I was cheating doing it this way, but to be honest, the conservatory is purely going to be a utility. It's not our dream kitchen, let's put it that way. So you can see the conservatory is in an absolute state, and it's been like this for so long, it's really been our dumping ground. Now I'm going to leave a link to the things that I bought below, just so you can get an idea of the type and the price that I paid. But I went for their absolute bottom of the range with the full intention of making my own doors for them later. Well, that's the plan anyway. But the thing that really put me off at basic kitchen carcasses is that I'd read a lot of reviews saying they were fragile and people had broken them while they were putting them together. So I didn't rush this at all, and I took my time and only used hand tools to hand tighten things. But if you want these exact units that come with these front doors in a proper kitchen, I really wouldn't at all, because it does look cheap. And bear in mind, the plan is to create an L shape in this conservatory. So I'm not going to give you a full tutorial on this, it's going to be pretty boring. Just follow the instructions, take your time. But I've said this before, I treat it like a jigsaw puzzle. I find this quite therapeutic, but you can actually buy kitchen units like these already made up, which would be so much quicker. And I actually built these well before my JYSK bedroom makeover, and I didn't realise at the time that one of their guides was to build furniture while on a rug or carpet. And conveniently, that's what I'm doing now. So you can see things are starting to take shape. And let me know if anyone remembers this wooden mallet appearing on my channel for the first time. It was actually in my door hanging video, and this was kindly sent to me from YouTuber Ollie. Thanks. Again, I'll leave a link below, but this was the very first time I ever used this. But I just needed to give it a little tappy tap tap taparoo for the dowels to go into place. It was perfectly gentle for the work and didn't create any damage. So now I've got the structure of this one together. They were all pretty much the same, and it was time to slot the backing in. And this was very easy. It came in two parts with a little strip in between, and I just screwed them into place on the top. So now it was a matter of putting the legs on, and this was very easy. Plonk this thing in, very, very technical, and then I'd use a bradawl. To be honest, I used this a hell of a lot during this project, and it would just easily pierce a hole, so I could then screw things into place with ease. And then here comes the actual legs, and these are adjustable, but I'll be twisting these closer to the time when I know I'll need to put everything into place. Another common problem that I read about is that these legs are very fragile. So I thought, right, I'm going to use one of Hans's food boxes and then rest it on there and pull it up. That worked a treat. So that's the majority of my first one. I won't actually be fitting the doors on at the moment, just because I thought they'd get in the way while I was doing plumbing and stuff. The other thing that I was worried about is that these windowsills protrude a little bit, but my dad said there's a fair bit of allowance at the back, so you can create a notch and fit it plumb to the wall. And then it was time to put the shelves in and determine where I wanted to put them. And this is where I completely regretted following the instructions by hammering the rest of the backing in, because I realised later I needed access through to the back so I could start the plumbing. And you can't really remove these panel pins without doing some damage. But at least it's just the back of it, and there is a bit of damage, for example, because I realised I wanted the shelf even lower. So you can see I've now had a shuffle around and put my unit in the corner. So now I'm working on another 1200 unit, which is pretty much the same as what you've just seen, and then push that against the other one as well. And then I decided I wanted some drawers so I could make more use of the space. But I have to say, for something that's a budget range, I found this ridiculously expensive for such a small set of drawers. So these have obviously got tracks that I had to put into place. So I'm just fixing those on. Now to line up the sides for the drawers. And then put the fronts on, and the back of these drawer covers had holes prepared for me anyway. So I followed those and I mounted the attachments on. But this is where it gets interesting, because I find I always learn something new as I'm going along. And once I've fixed them on, I put them in situ and I could not get them straight. And I even made sure they were level at the top, but I just thought it looks horrendous like this. But what I didn't know, and it's not in the instructions, is that there's a little screw while it's fixed to the drawer, and you just twist it and it heightens or lowers them. So we're on another day and I had to start thinking about the plumbing side of things. But what I didn't get on film is add this grey extension hose to the washing machine because we needed to move it further away. So now I'm removing the old washing machine hose and then temporarily adding this white piece so we could still wash our clothes while we were fitting this utility. A lot of people have told me that these can fail, but I had to use a wrench to tighten it up to stop any leaking. But the first thing I noticed is that the black waste pipe was just too long and it was protruding too much for the corner kitchen unit. So I had to push it out, but then shorten it on the other side with a hacksaw because it was protruding too much at that end as well. And then just pop that back on. And now it was just a matter of just cutting notches out of the back so the units would sit against the wall. But the last thing I wanted to do was just give ourselves better access to where the plumbing is going to be if we needed to turn it off. And before I remove my square, I'm just using a hole saw just to get started. And I knew this wasn't going to change the structure of the corner unit because it's really strong chipboard. And then using a jigsaw, I cut out the square. And then you can see the access to the plumbing, which I will definitely be sorting out because I never fitted this, but it does look like a part that's from a radiator and it's not technically right.